Snetterton in Norfolk for round 8 of the Pirelli Porsche Cup, and Paul Mace in the yellow 911 from pole position leading this race, but behind him in 5th place a huge blow-up from the number 18 machine of Kevin Harrison. And look at that, absolutely driving blind behind him. He pulls off out for the S's as quickly as possible halfway around the first lap, but all that oil smoke meaning that everybody who was behind him is completely blinded. And Paul Mace just runs away. Look again, you try imagine driving through that, everybody coming to a complete halt, fortunately without further damage. The red and silver car you can see there right at the back should have started on the outside of the front row of the grid. Here he comes with the headlights ablaze. It's Pete Chambers, the reigning champion and current series leader. Well, he had problems on the warm-up lap, had to start after fixing his gearbox from the pit lane. He's trying to make up places desperately, and in the pits here, this is Tony Littlejohn, and his 944 Turbo seems to have terminal problems. Well, the Class 3 battle, as ever, waging its way here. David Gregory chasing his rivals in their 924s and 944s, but out front, Paul Mace being chased by the white machine of Chris Healy. There is Adrian Wiley, the blue car in 3rd, Nigel Rice in 4th place in his 944 Turbo, like Chris Healy, one of the front engine cars. Healy incidentally started in 8th place. Rice was 3rd on the grid, now trying to get that place back from Wiley, who was alongside him in 4th. And here is the race leader, Paul Mace, with Chris Healy on terms but unable to make a move at the moment. Chris Healy will push very hard indeed to try and keep him honest though. And Chris Healy right with him. Through Russell they go. And oh, Nigel Rice nearly losing the car completely there. Just avoided the spin by straightening up the steering and heading off track. Got it all together. Mike Salmon in his Class 2 machine. He pulls off just after the S's. Now I think that is him retiring as well. Top of the picture, Stuart Scott leading Paul Martin with the black windscreen strips. Martin on the outside as Nigel Rice tries to get through past him, and Scott spins on the exit. They make contact, Rice gets through, so too there did Pete Chambers. And so Class 3 and Class 1 cars getting involved there. Nigel Rice though with smoke in the cockpit, that can't be good news. Pete Chambers goes by him. Rice still seems to have plenty of speed. Scott, who was the first to arrive at Russell there, is the last to leave. The leaders now in amongst the back markers as well. Paul Mace out front. Chris Healy, he's managed to shake off. And he'll have to be careful in amongst these Class 2 cars, just to make sure he doesn't get tripped up, because they're all having their own battles for position. And Paul Mace charging towards the line. Chris Healy long dropped away behind him. It's victory at Snetterton in the first race for Paul Mace, and Pete Chambers comes up to an astonishing 3rd place, having started last from the pit lane. While winning in Class 2 was David Freeman, and winning Class 3 was Paul Martin, and it was Mace overall. And he therefore starts on pole position for the main feature, with Chris Healy alongside then Pete Chambers, Nigel Rice, David Ellis, Paul Barrett, and the fastest man in Class 2 starting in 9th place, David Freeman. And we ride now with David Freeman. Oh my goodness me, what on earth was that? Just as they start to get the green light, there's contact in the middle of the field and further back as well. Well, now that was very unusual indeed. Up to the rolling start, they should be side by side, and you're not allowed to overtake anybody until you get to the start-finish line. There's definite contact in the middle of the field there, riding with Nigel Rice. Pete Chambers ahead, and then the race leader, Paul Mace, running out wide in his blue and yellow machine. Chris Healy is the white car. They're side by side, but look at the speed of Mace. They're all going past Healy. I'm sure Chris Healy has got a bit of a problem there. He's not normally slow in a straight line at all. Pete Chambers, the red and silver machine, inserts himself into 2nd place. Could it be that the mid-mounted 911 generation of cars have a bit of a handling advantage here at Snetterton? Normally handling courses are pretty much the favourites of the 944 bunch. They seem to think that they're better balanced. Maybe here you need the mid-mounted engine. Mace with down the inside Chambers, very close indeed. Chambers keeps it clean. Mace has to go over the gravel though, he brakes so late, and Pete Chambers on the outside will go around him. Nigel Rice in third place, the dark yellow machine is right there. Chambers leads, Mace second, Rice third, and there is Max Eisen in his Class 2 machine, he spins out. And the field coming through. And there is Julian Wiley, retired from the first race after showing strongly at the beginning. Riding with Rice then. Nigel Rice chasing Paul Mace. All over the broken concrete they are there, trying to make the exits to the corner as wide and fast as possible. Now wheel to wheel, drag racing down the straight. Pete Chambers leads. Then the battle for second. Nigel Rice in the darker car. Paul Mace goes down to third before they even get onto the brakes. Rice got past him on the straight. And then Chris Healy in fourth spot, dividing his season this year between racing his 944 Turbo and his TVR Tuscan. And very competent man indeed in both of them. So Rice, Mace and Healy, second, third and fourth. And Pete Chambers is driving away from the rest of them. The reigning champion started from the pit lane in the first heat, and again Mace gets it wrong at Russell and very nearly takes Nigel Rice out of the equation. Just manages not to slam him in the door, but Chris Healy gets a good run through and he will comfortably breeze past Paul Mace. So Nigel Rice up to second, Chris Healy up to third, Paul Mace in fourth place, fastest man in practice. Won the first heat quite comfortably from Chris Healy, but looks like the tables are turned now. In Class 2, the number 40 machine, David Freeman there. Oh dear, and Freeman getting very out of shape indeed, ahead of Andrew Delahunty in the blue machine. Delahunty, like Chris Healy, also trying his hand at the TVR Tuscan Challenge. And Freeman there shedding his rear number plate. Hope he doesn't drive quite like that on the road, I'm sure he doesn't. Andrew Delahunty, the youngster, right behind him. And they are battling for 8th place. Leaders passing this Class 2 battle. There's Paul Mace in third, and down the inside comes the pale blue car of Anthony Oliver. This is for Class 2 positions. Tries to get past Tom McHugh's red machine, doesn't manage to do so. Well, such a speed that these front runners are going at around Snetterton, already in amongst the middle of the Class 2 machines. Pete Chambers with some empty road ahead of him, able to drive away now from Nigel Rice. Rice giving his best to hang on though. Doing a pretty good job of it, I reckon, but Pete Chambers not to be denied. He's easing away here, and Rice will have to really go strong to catch up with him. And Chris Healy certainly has got some kind of problem. He's in the pits, and that means he's out of third place. Well, battle again on the brakes between Delahunty, the pale blue car, and number 40, David Freeman. And Andrew Delahunty picks up the place there at the expense of the more experienced Freeman. A pair of them swapping places in their Porsche 968s. Young Andrew's raced all sorts of different things. National Saloon Car Cup he's raced in. He's raced Marcus GT cars, TVRs, and the family Porsche. And the family Porsche is taking a bit of a rubbing there as well. Dad Tony won't be too impressed if it comes home all battered and bruised. Well, he might be if he wins the class, obviously. Then I'm sure it'll be perfectly well received. And again, rubbing with Freeman. Freeman really trying to lean on the youngster here and throws his weight around a bit. Delahunty on the inside's got all the aces there, and Freeman lucky to hold on. And that one looks like it's getting a little bit nasty. On board with Freeman now. Delahunty right in front. Freeman pushing him through the exit there of Russell. Wheel to wheel. Misses a gear, and that allows Delahunty to get back in. And Freeman looking over. Absolutely wing mirror to wing mirror, door to door. Delahunty trying to get onto the racing line, and Freeman then has to come past the slower Class 3 machine. Delahunty on the inside's got nowhere to go. Freeman hangs onto it. Well, that is great close racing here as well, but so far no contact. Nigel Rice in second, Pete Chambers the race leader in car number 1. Right with him is Rice. Chambers just holding him off, and that's all he needs to do. The checkered flag is there to rescue him from any further attempts. So Pete Chambers wins, and Freeman still holding off Delahunty. This is for 8th place, and this is for the win in Class 2. So this is very important stuff for both men through Coram Curve. David Freeman still leading Andrew Delahunty, but Delahunty is quicker through Coram. He picks up the back of the number 40 machine, spins him round, and a big impact as Freeman goes off on the entrance to Russell. Huge tyre wall there guarding the marshal's post. And so it's Andrew Delahunty who wins in Class 2. David Freeman who's left to pick up the repair bills. We're on board with Freeman out of Coram. And just there, Andrew Delahunty, much quicker, runs into him, and a big impact with that tyre wall. So overall in Class 1 victory goes to Pete Chambers. In Class 2 it's Andrew Delahunty. In Class 3 Paul Martin is the winner. And Chambers still leading the championship from arch rival Healy.